So how's Alabama been?
It's been pretty peachy.
They're pretty peachy? Yeah, I heard you caught a gator.
I did catch a gator. On a frog.
On a frog, bro. He slammed that sucker.
He did.
Oh, we're back. We're back. Tater and I got our best baits.
Got a little special guest.
We got a special guest here. You guys don't know, Mr. Dawson Outdoors.
How y'all doing?
So Dash, you're in where?
I am in Alabama now.
Alabama. So for you folks on that eastern coast, we're gonna have somebody speak directly to you about September and his top baits. He's been doing a lot of fishing. Your last tournament, you just fished with actually Nolan Smith, who's going
AZ boys.
Yeah, AZ boy.
Headed to Montebello.
Headed to Montebello. That's what it was.
Right.
Yeah. So and you guys took what, fourth?
Well, we had a couple fish that
You had a fish dead.
yeah, knocked
Should've
us
taken
down
fourth.
a little bit. That's right. We
Big field, though.
ended up ninth out of 140, 150, something like that. So tournaments are going pretty good down there.
He's been smashing. He's taking a couple W's, and you're fresh to those lakes, and he's smashing.
So
So
it's a learning experience.
But yeah, we're gonna kick it off here. And Tater, what you got for your September West Coast? What you got?
For West Coast, so out here we're still warm. We still, especially beginning of September, I'm still gonna be hitting some of those offshore fish, you know, on those points, those humps, they're still there. I'm gonna target them, but I'm kind of just gonna finesse down my Texas rig, my free rig, whatever I was throwing earlier this summer. I'm just gonna kind of finesse it down. So like, you know, earlier this year I was throwing the Zoom Lizard, a lot of action. So now I'm gonna switch over to something like the Ridge Lizard, a little more subtle, a little smaller profile. Basically, I'm just downsizing all my presentation to get more bites. They've been beat up on, so, you know, going to the 7-inch power worm, that's a really good one. And then, you know, from like your traditional brush hog, I'm gonna go down to like the Baby Destroyer, just keeping it real small, you know, just trying to get bites on those beat up fish. You know, depending on the cover I'm fishing, if I got more open, kind of rocky sand, I'm gonna be free rigging. Usually I try to keep it lighter weights right now too, quarter to that 3/8 ounce, just more natural, slower fall. And then, you know, if I got brush, a lot of cover around, I'll just throw it straight up on a Texas rig. I like that 5/16 to kind of that half is where I'll max out at, but just good old, you know, dragging and hopping it, just with some smaller plastics. If you're long casting, you know, make sure you throw that round bend. If I'm flipping like bluff walls, more vertical hook sets, I like going with the little EWG, but super simple. I'm just basically downsizing everything you were dragging earlier this summer, just smaller package now.
Certain depths are like, what's your target depth with these typically right now?
Right now, I mean, anywhere, you can flip this shallow up, 5 foot of water, but that 15 to 25 foot zone is kind of my main starting zone, you know, but
Sure.
and then, you know, you can go all the way up from there, but
I like that. Finesse it down, get some more
finesse
bites.
it down. Yeah,
I like it. I
yeah,
like it.
especially if you guys are out there like struggling on those same points and stuff, try finessing it down, going with a little 7-inch worm or a little Baby Destroyer, and you'll pick some more fish off with
And it's
that.
not like you're drop shotting. I mean, you're still power fishing.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
exactly. You know, from
you get that little power
instead
feeling.
of like a 7.5 heavy with a 10-inch worm, you're on a 7.3 medium heavy with a little 7-inch worm. So still can swing on them, still throwing a little heavier line, but that's one of my ways I can stay getting bit, kind of in this little funky time.
I'm with you. I've seen the same thing out there.
Yeah. But that's a good one. That's one of my favorite ways to do it right now.
Well, Mr. Dash Dawson, let's see what you got. What do you got for your first? What are you doing down in Alabama on the East Coast?
So we can't have a top 3 September bait list in the South. I'm gonna get the elephant in the room out the way first.
Oh, no.
Without the shaking manner. That's right. So,
But there's a little bit different, right? Like, you're, okay.
So
I'm curious.
I'm running 2 different sizes for the most part this time of year. This 5.2 flush, throwing that with a mag stroll head. Any bait over 5-inch, Sakamata shad, anything like that, I'm throwing on that mag stroll head. And so basically what I'm doing with this guy is this bigger size, I'm throwing it to more structure. So brush piles, ledges, I'm fishing it over stumps, cages, that style stuff. Fishing for snaking fish as well, like up on flats. We got a lot of big spotted bass. I like to get up on them flats. You can cruise them shallow flats, see them, and shake this over their head, and they'll come up off the bottom and grab it. And it's a fun way to catch them, and you can catch some really good ones doing it as well. And then on the other spectrum there, I got this this 3.7 strobe shaker. So I'm throwing this for more like your schooling fish when you have like a lot of competition. And they're all shooting up for it on forward facing. I'm throwing this eye roll. This thing is really cool. It's got a coated VMC hook as well as a welded ring, so you can just tie your Palomar knot or fisherman's knot, whatever knot you like, straight to the jig head itself. You don't have to waste time with a loop knot, and you're gonna have a stronger connection there versus a loop knot. So that's strolling. That's getting that out the way first.
I got a question for you, and maybe I think it's funny because everybody's so intrigued with forward-facing sonar and like shaking a minnow these days. Like it's like the question that I get probably the most on guide trips, just in the shop, whatever. When you say big and small minnows, right? So if you're targeting, why would you target brush for the viewers at home? Why would you target brush or bottom fish or those kind of fish with a big minnow instead of a small minnow?
So. And there are days where I will throw a small minnow over brush, like if they're real, if it's like a really hot, no current, something like that. Yeah, absolutely. But for the most part, that bigger minnow is going to draw them out of that brush. Like a lot of your big largemouth out there, we're talking like the Coosa River, the TVA, that kind of stuff. The big largemouth like to get in the very bottom of the brush pile, especially on days where it's real hot, no current. And so that bigger presentation's got more drawing power. It's going to suck them out of that brush, and it's going to draw your bigger bites for sure, most of the time. Now, like I said, there are days where they are really finicky and you have to really downsize, kind of like Tate was saying, and that's when I will pick up that smaller minnow. But yeah, for the most part, structure-based for the big minnow, and then a smaller minnow, I like to throw it at floaters, like single floaters and schooling fish. Yeah.
Nice. I like it. I mean, it makes sense. You draw them out.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to do something a little bit different. We've been talking about this. I think it's kind of a cool idea. We might mix this in a little bit here. Tell me what you guys think if you want to see more of this stuff. But do a couple of like throwbacks, but maybe reinvented or newer throwback baits that used to be super hot back in the day that you might still use or might have forgotten about. Number one is a standard 3-piece swim bait, right? Now, I think it's changed on how we fish this and like, where we fish this, because this gets bit a lot of different places. Anywhere you got gizzard, shad, bluegill, a 3-piece bait is gonna get bit. And you got a bunch of different great choices and colors. This is the 6 Sense Trace. They got a 5 and 6 inch, and they also got, I think, a new big one.
Yeah.
That's coming out.
Yeah.
We're gonna get that at some point, I'm sure. But 5, 6 inchers. I choose the fast sink on this one because I'm targeting speed with this. When I'm throwing this, I'm specifically working it fast over something or over a flat somewhere, either that bass is feeding or over some type of structure to draw a reaction bite. Like he was talking about with a big minnow in deep water or off those flats, he's drawing that fish or making him react out of that cover. That's kind of the same idea with this bait. It's a fast, fun bait. You can cover a lot of water with it. If you got aggressive fish in your lakes and you got good clarity, I don't prefer to speed this up when it's low clarity, but when you got good clarity, 3-4 foot, this is really, really good, shallow or deep, doesn't matter. Burn and kill, burn and kill, burn and kill. I'm just speeding it up, slowing down, speeding up, slowing down. Really short bursts. And this thing just goes crazy, shoots off to the side, usually draws a bite. But the 3-piece swim bait, it's been around for forever.
For a while,
a long time. It's just been reinvented, and it's gotten better, honestly, because now we got different sink rates. We got floating, suspending, fast. I like the fast sink because I want to keep that bait below the surface or coming up just to the surface if I'm working it really fast. Obviously, if I'm going to slow it down, do the suspending or the floating. You guys got to try that out. I'm sure that's gonna get smoked at meat, I think, coming up.
Yeah.
It's gonna get smoked.
Yeah,
Yes.
burning that thing around.
Oh yeah.
Water temps drop and they finna chew.
Yep.
It's gonna get fun.
What you got, Tate? What's your next one?
Let's see. We'll keep it on a simple one right here.
Oh.
How we all want to catch them. It's a good one.
It's like the best thing ever.
Going through the fall. I'll keep it basic. I got a frog and a walking bait. Really, if you got heavy schooling fish, schooling activity, the walking bait, more open water, even just chucking down the bank, trying to cover water, find some fish, I'm going to be rolling with the walking bait a lot of that time. Like right now, We got no shore cover, no grass, no nothing. So I got the walking bait. But on the other end, if you're in a lake that's got a lot of cover right now, even, you know, grass, they're gonna start pushing all that bait up into those grass and everything. It's hard to beat a frog in September. This is the 6 cents hush. I mean, we've talked about it. I feel like every dang month.
It's
almost.
so hard not to put it in there,
Yeah.
dude. It
is.
I mean, all of us, guys,
the
we
most
fish
fun
all
bait
the time, and like, there's a reason it's on here so much. I mean, it just
it
hits
is
big.
fire. It's that smaller profile, super soft. I mean, super easy to walk, great hookup ratios, everything you want in a frog.
Literally.
I will say, a little sneaky. These ones are a little harder because it's got the glued belly on there, but if you guys want to do some DIY, you can just put some hot glue back on there, but adding some rattles in there. I'll just add some worm rattles. I'll break them up with the pliers. That's actually a good way. You know, say you go down a strip and you get bit in this, you can go back through there in open water with the frog. I like the rattles just to calm up a little bit and still get bit on that. So that's a little
I gotta mention this here. So I saw a cool video, and this will be a good question for the viewers. So I saw a cool video, guys melting plastic and then dipping it in glitter. So like silver glitter, pink glitter, whatever it may be. I thought that would be really cool on some frog tails to kind of melt and put some flash on there. Yeah. So I'm curious to the viewers at home, what's your favorite DIY? Right? What's your favorite modification? I'm curious.
Sneak.
Drop it down in the comments.
People be doing some crazy stuff.
But that hush frog, man,
it's a good
catches
one.
them, man.
Heck yeah.
I like this new walker a lot too.
Yeah,
The
I kind
jowler,
of didn't
man.
touch on that. The jowler, we'll show you guys a close-up too. This is the new Rapala. I think it came out earlier this year or last year, but another walking style. And then on the front there, it's got that, shower blow style lip with the cup. But a little different sound than your shower blows. Cast super good and still got that nice, just spitting, super erratic action. But those are money. And they got
super freaking sharp hooks.
Bunch of good colors too.
And that bait specifically too in the South is absolutely killer. If it's one of my favorite ways to catch them. You go up on them flats where there's like 3 foot of water.
Yep.
And you can see them wadded up there, and you bomb it up over them, and all of a sudden you can see it on forward facing. And you walk that bait over, you just watch them just come up off the bottom, and them spotted bass and a walking bait. I mean, it's like PB&J.
He casts a country mile too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it gets big bites too. It gets the biggest fish in that school to bite.
Yeah, those are fire. Those have been kind of slept on a little bit at our shop.
Yeah, 100%.
And yeah, like he was saying, it's got all the red line hooks. These are money.
Sharp.
These are money.
All right, Dash, what you got? What's your second one?
Second bait for me for the month of September, I'm gonna go with the Neko rig. Now, as far as worms go, I like to keep it pretty simple with brand and color. My all-time favorite for anywhere I fish in the whole country is gonna be a Morning Dawn 7-inch robo worm. That 7-inch is it works a little bit better for the Neko because the center mass is a little thicker. And I'm using a crossover ring by VMC. Now these things are really unique because you have the option to put option to put your hook vertical or horizontal. So it's got 2 holes. And
so really quick here, I get all the questions in the shop all the time. Size, because there's like 3mm, 4mm, 5, 6, 7, 8mm. What are you throwing on there?
So 5mm for the 7-inch robo worm, like a Zoom trick worm, something like that. If I'm throwing like a sinko style thickness, I'm throwing that what is it, the 7mm? Yep. I think it's the next one up. Yep. And normally too, I like it to be a little bit tighter on that worm so it doesn't slip up and down like this one. The hook is not actually going through the plastic of the worm, so it helps with longevity of your worm. And I mean, as you can see, I'm pulling on that really hard, and the worm is gonna rip before it's gonna slide down. So to answer your question, yeah, that's what I do for that. And as far as Neko heads go, they all work. My favorite ones are the Neko Shrooms by TRD. The reason for that is I'm fishing this a lot of times on rock piles, and I like to have that lead connected to the bottom versus just a nail weight in there.
Okay.
Where you know what I'm saying? That plastic's going. Yeah.
I feel you. That's a good little. You guys, take that. That's a good note right there.
Yeah, it's a little sneak deal. But and I'll also take a dab of super glue, so that way you're not losing them every time a fish jumps and shakes his head and that worm's going crazy. Them things have a tendency to fly out. So take a little bit of super glue, put them on there. And I'm fishing this similar areas that I'm throwing the minnow. But for the most part, I'm shaking it. You can shake it just like a minnow. Shaking it over a brush pile, they'll eat it. And then like if you have them come up and they won't commit, drop it to the bottom. Let that thing hit bottom and just dead stick. And
so if you're seeing them on forward facing, you see that group or a couple come up on them, and they're not eating it quickly, you're just
you can just drop it and just you sit there, barely shake it, dead stick it, whatever you got to do. And this bait right here, sitting on the bottom, the way that it's designed to do, shaking very subtly, them fish have a hard time saying no to it. It's sitting there in their face, and it's just consistently doing the same thing right in front of them. They just can't say no to it. So Nico rig this time of year, as far as a finesse presentation goes, is really hard to beat. And I'll upsize too sometimes. If I'm fishing more largemouth fisheries, I'll throw like a 7, 8-inch worm. Like them 6 cents, what is the Busa?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a killer worm.
Snag boosters. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
we were
killer
talking
there.
about it in the last one.
Right. Mag boosters, man. Well, that's good, man. All right, This is gonna go way back. This is gonna go way back.
You got a weird little pile there.
It is a weird pile. But you know what? I tell you what. I've at least I can say I have personally smashed them at some point fishing on all 3 of these at some point. And this one is really special to me because I'm a big lipless guy. I think it's just kind of slept on a little bit. Guys, think about it, pre-spawn only. February is the month, and then you put the lipless down. And for me, I keep it on the boat a lot of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably hear more of it back there than out here, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, in the spring, like you were saying, pre-spawn, nobody utilizes it this time of year.
Yep. And guys, when you have that shad migration, like we're getting storms. We had a crazy haboob here the other night. And getting all these storms, you get a little bit of cool off. I mean, you get a couple degrees, when the water's 85 and it goes down to 82, 81. Those shad, they're like, okay, is it time? Should we start moving shallow? So you get little pods, Well, with little pods of shad migration or bait fish moving shallow, you're gonna get some bass fall on them too. And sometimes they can be the right ones if you find that magic area. But usually you're gonna catch a lot of fish, typically, when you find the bait shallow, whether it's a little pocket or a little flat, but this is the Bill Lewis rattle trap. I mean, I can't, I don't even say anything more. The Bill Lewis rattle trap, chrome blue, blueback, staple, anywhere you go. But I'm throwing this, I'm targeting backs of pockets. I'm trying to find that first migration that's moved towards the back. We got water drawdown at Roosevelt. Water's going down like crazy. A lot of these fish are already starting to get on the bank. You got different things going on all over the country. But if you get that cool off early, right? Because we're going to September here. You get that cool off early. Got to try that rattle trap. I'm burning it over cover, bouncing, trying to hit rock, keeping it pretty shallow. Like I said, I'm targeting like that. Let's say less than 8 foot zone. And covered in water. And I'm really focusing. You see that little shad flickering on the surface, or you see a little wake in the back of a pocket. It's usually some bass around or some bait around. They're feeding a little bit. That's where I'm going to target that. But I've had some great days in September and the beginning of October on the old lipless.
It wouldn't be a Seth Firmament top 3 without the lipless.
It
wouldn't be.
Man,
you got to have him in there.
You got to have a lipless, man. Love a lipless.
That's right.
Tater, what you got? What's your last one?
Lastly, got a good old underspin with a soft plastic swim bait on there. I like throwing the weedless version, like the keel bladed hook from 6 cents. You got the owner flashy swimmer. If you got more open water, you can throw it on, just your classic underspin top hook. But this is just a good way to go catch fish this time of month. Really, this one too, you got to really pay attention on the forage size, what your bass are feeding on. Luckily with Kitech and 6 cents, they got a 2.7 all the way up
6,
7, 8.
7, 8, yeah.
Yeah. So
they got giants.
Pay attention to what they're feeding on. They got the hooks to match it too, but really chuck and wind technique. Great for those schooling fish if they're a little finicky on that walking bait or something. Throw this up, past the boils, reel it through there, keep it up higher in the water column. Another good way too, if you got grass patches or even some brush, I like reeling it over and then just killing it and just letting it swim. It's gonna swim and fall into that brush pile, flash with that blade. Gotten some really big bites doing that, just dropping it in there. But yeah, freaking Good old.
It's a staple. I mean, especially if you're like I feel like all these go hand in hand, right? Like I hope the viewers, you guys don't think that we're like, oh, this is the only 3 baits I'm having on my deck. That's the only 3 baits State's having on it. These all go hand in hand. Like we all have all this stuff, right? Like, and we're all using it when it needs to be used. Like
exactly. You gotta adjust to the conditions. You know,
exactly.
Like, this is gonna work good in the same areas, like in the back of the pockets as that Lipless he was talking. It might work better on your, bluebird, no wind day where you're smoking them on this on a cloudy day with wind. Yep. So just kind of pay attention to that. We kind of just try to keep it a nice mix going on between the 3 of us. But I mean, we're all throwing all this stuff all September. But yeah, get you some little Kitech, little Divine Swimmer. Freaking munched.
That's right.
What you got, Dash?
You gotta. I think that's too big for you to throw over here in Alabama.
Don't be touching him now. Don't be touching him. Wait.
It's over your size limit.
So, this is the one I'm excited about. This is the one that I cannot wait to talk about. And I'm actually, you told me to give a little and give a little juice out.
Get some juice out, man. Hey, they're asking for it.
Y'all are asking for it. Y'all gonna receive it. So, my favorite bait this time of year right now in the South is, and it's not even close, is a glide bait. Now, specifically a 6, 7, that size range. Nothing huge. I'm not throwing a 250.
Okay.
Not throwing a Hinkle.
Trying to say fast and erratic.
That's right, yeah. And that's another thing, is picking your glide bait for your situation. You have open water glides. You have big chopping, slow, like the 6-inch draw, that style. And then you have your choppy glides. This right here, this is the bait this thing is on my deck 24/7 now. And it's that 6-inch trick shad by Mike Bucca. This thing, for the price, is built amazing. Got great hardware. I don't change the hooks. You have swivel.
360 swivels.
So your hookup ratio is actually really good, but I'm not fishing it the way that you normally would fish a glide. I'm sinking it down, and it takes patience, and people will say, you can put lead strips on there or wire on the hooks. It makes a difference. If you can get your bait to 30 foot over the brush pile, and there's nothing making that bait go like that, and it's suspending or super slow sink, those big ones, they will unload on it. So basically the way I'm fishing this right now is deep, like I was saying, probably 80% brush. A lot of our fish out there are in brush. Like, you'll pull up to brush piles and there will be 300 bass in that brush pile. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you can throw a jig or whatever down there, but this glide sunk down. So if the brush pile is right here, I'm going to sink it past a good ways. And you got to kind of play with it too, because if you let it go down too far, you're going to lose your glide. If you don't let it go down far enough, you're not going to be in that strike zone. And so I'm letting him sink down on the back side of the brush pile, and I've been fishing the Coosa chain a lot. Kind of how it's been is those spotted bass will congregate to the very top of the brush pile. They'll be sitting there waiting for balls of bait, whatever, to come over the top. And big largemouth, them big fish you want in a tournament are kind of tucked down a little bit more. When them spotted bass get a look at that bait, they're going to shoot out. And as soon as they shoot out, that big largemouth down there, it triggers that competition, whatever's in their mind, where it's like, I can't let them eat it, I got to eat it. That's what happens, and they shoot out. And I've caught some of the biggest largemouth out of the whole year just recently, throwing this exact color too, in that trick shad. And you're getting big bites, and there are days where and it works too when there's no current, nothing like that. There are days where it's brutally tough out there, and you can stroll, you can throw a jig, you can throw your Neko, whatever you want in that brush pile, and you get the same reaction. They go down, they nose down to it, or they follow it and they look at it. But that erratic chopping glide, it triggers something in them that they can't say no, and they will unload on it.
So when you're sinking down past that brush, like what's your cadence like when you see that school come up on that glide? And you're talking about you see a bigger largemouth below it or whatever. How do you change? Do you change pace?
Yeah.
To get that bigger largemouth to go? Like,
absolutely.
Walk them through that.
So I'm letting it sink down past, and I'm kind of a really slow cadence until I get there. When that bait is when that bait's within their eye shot, you'll know immediately. You'll know immediately on forward facing, they shoot out, or you'll see like their nose stick up out the brush pile. And as soon as they show any sort of interest in the bait, you don't want them to get a good look at it. Then they're not, So as soon as they show interest, I'm chopping like that, and that's when they come unglued on it.
Okay.
A lot of times too, if you give it a couple really hard chops and then chop, 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 kill it, that glide will turn back around on itself. And when they're chasing it like this, and that bait fish is looking back at them, it's toast.
I can't stand it.
That thing's down in the choker, down there in the gullet. It's so much fun. And I know we're not talking about reels here, but since we're on the topic of glide baits, I've been throwing that Conquest, and it's been the biggest game changer. I honestly think that it has helped me catch more fish. It is so smooth, and when you're throwing a glide bait on forward facing, it's hard because it likes to catch the air and kind of, you're throwing on a cone. You're throwing straight off your trolling motor. If you're off an inch either way, you won't get the same presentation. That Conquest, it's so, I don't really know how to describe it. It's so loose that it rolls off and it just goes exactly where you want it to go.
That's a Shimano Conquest. Mm-hmm. And that's the round style.
Yeah.
What size?
I've been throwing the 300.
300. Okay.
I've been throwing the 300, and I also take it down and fish for redfish in the saltwater with it. It's the most versatile reel on earth. I'm coming for a tarpon on it. A tarpon's about. Hey, I'm about to hit a tarpon on it. It's coming.
I like it. That's some juice, guys. Hey, you guys, I want to know if y'all have ever done that. You guys, anybody sink down any glide baits? Drop a comment down. I'm curious.
It's killer.
I love to do that.
It's so much fun.
It's so hard to talk about because it's something I hold so close to the heart. But like sinking down a glide, man. Oh.
I know. I'm internally cringing letting this information
it's
out.
Like, we let that juice out, man. All right, but y'all seeing it. Whatever. Hey, they're gonna catch some fish doing it.
Oh,
that's the goal, right?
That's why we're here.
All right, so I got last throwback here, and I'm sure y'all have seen a sinko before, right? Sinko. But, all right. So, and I didn't know this. I forgot who told me about this, but the sinko was actually invented to be a twitch style bait, not a bait that you fish slowly and fall. Okay. I didn't even know this, but when I figured this out, and it's something I use specifically in the early fall, that for some reason, it generates bites differently than a fluke, differently than a lot of different things. I'm throwing this weightless Texas rig, Texas style on like a 4/0 hook. And I found this out at Lake Fork. Okay. I'm in the back of a creek and it's September, I think it was like mid-September. And we're in this spot and we can see fish chasing. In this back of this pocket, there's some grass around, a little bit of timber. And I'm like, we can't get them to eat anything. We're throwing topwater, throwing lipless, we're throwing little square bills, anything and everything. And I've got a green pumpkin sinko on. And I'm like, let it sink, nothing. Twitch, let it sink, your normal sinko presentation. And then I start reeling it in and I just get smoked. And I'm like, okay, what just happened? It's like a 3.5 pounder. It's like, all right, cast out there, twitch, gunk, another one. I'm like, okay, I might be onto a little something there. We smoked them. We both tied on sinkos, me and my cousin Dewey down there at Lake Fork, and we smoked. We could not catch them on anything else. And maybe it's specifically that spot, that time, whatever. But I've done it since. And guys, if you're not throwing a sinko like a fast twitch bait, it's something to think about, something different. Remember, everybody throws, your typical stuff, right? It's always, we're trying to search sinking down a glide bait, big or small minnow, finessing down your typical Texas rig stuff. We're trying to do something different to generate bites that other people are not getting. And this is something that's generated different bites for me this time of year that I don't think anybody really does. I don't think hardly anybody really has a sinko on this time of year.
Mm-hmm. No. Yeah.
But twitching it fast, I think you're going to be in a small percentile of somebody doing that. So add that to your arsenal. Sinko, twitched fast, work it fast on those shallow fish. Again, where maybe you're not getting bit on the swim bait, the rattle trap, whatever it may be, top water. Throw that behind them, see what happens.
Sinko.
Well, and you touched on this, but honestly, all these baits are all great, and they all are great for their specific reasons. But what you just said with doing something different than the next guy, and that honestly is what gets you more bites than anything. And even if it seems dumb, even if it seems like it's not gonna work, doing something that those fish on that point that everybody and their moms fished for the whole year, doing something that they haven't seen or presenting the bait in a way that they haven't seen that's the ticket really to getting more bites, bigger bites.
So before signing off, I think one last nugget to kind of touch on what you were talking about. And we get this question a lot in the shop here, and guys are like, okay, well, I went and tried something new. It didn't work. Well, I honestly think like you got to be, first of all, in the right time of year, and it's got to be the right time to use that bait, right? And you've got to have some confidence in that, because what happens, I think, with a lot of these guys is they go out and try something new, it doesn't work, and you resort right back to what you were doing before that. And so you don't get any experience on the new stuff, and you kind of give up on it. I would encourage you guys at home, don't give up on some stuff. If you really want to learn something, you know, let's say you want to learn the trace or the swim bait or, Neko rig, strolling minnow, take one rod. Empty out your boat, take that rod, right? And you can't just depend on, it's not gonna happen in one day. Like, none of us learned this in one day, guys. This is years or months of experimenting and going through everything that we talk to you guys about and doing it ourselves to put it into play and help you guys catch more fish, help us catch more fish. And I would just encourage you guys, experiment, don't give up on it, keep it rolling. Copperstate's got you covered. From the East Coast to the West Coast.
That's right.
Thanks, guys.
Later.
See y'all.